Hong Kong, February 1996. My dear son, it is 6 o'clock in the morning on the island of Hong Kong. You are asleep, cradled in my left arm, and I am learning the art of one-handed typing. Your mother, more tired yet more happy than I have ever known her, is sound asleep in the room next door, and there is a soft quiet in our apartment. Since you've arrived, days have melted into night and back again, and we are learning a new grammar, a long sentence whose punctuation marks are feeding and winding and nappy changing, and these occasional moments of quiet. When you are older, we'll tell you that you were born in Britain's last Asian colony, and that when we brought you home, the staff of our apartment block gathered to wish you well. It's a boy, so lucky, so lucky. We Chinese love boys, they told us. One man said you were the first baby to be born in that block that year. This, he told us, was good feng shui. In other words, a positive sign for the building and everyone who lived there. Naturally, your mother and I were only too happy to believe that. We had wanted you and waited for you, imagined you and dreamed about you. And now that you are here, no dream can do justice to you. Outside the window, below us on the harbor, the ferries are plowing back and forth to Kowloon. Millions are already up and moving about, and the sun is slanting through the tower blocks and out onto the flat silver waters of the South China Sea. I can see the trail of a jet over Lama Island, and somewhere out there, the last stars flickering towards the other side of the world. We have called you Daniel Patrick, but I have been told by my Chinese friends that you should have a Chinese name as well. And this glorious dawn sky makes me think we'll call you Son of the Eastern Star, so that later, when you and I are far from Asia, perhaps standing on a beach some evening, I can point to the sky and tell you of the Orient and the times and the people we knew there in the last years of the 20th century. Your coming has turned me upside down and inside out. So much that seemed essential to me has, in the past few days, taken on a different color. Like many foreign correspondents I know, I have lived a life that, on occasion, has veered close to the edge: war zones, natural disasters, darkness in all its shapes and forms. In a world of insecurity and ambition and ego, it's easy to be drawn in, to take chances with our lives, to believe that what we do and what people say about us is reason enough to gamble with death. Now, looking at your sleeping face, inches away from me, listening to your occasional sigh and gurgle, I wonder how I could have ever thought glory and prizes and praise were sweeter than life. Daniel, my painful, haunting memories of suffering children I have come across on my journeys explain some of the fierce protectiveness I feel for you, the tenderness and the occasional moments of blind terror when I imagine anything happening to you. But there is something more, a story from long ago that I will tell you face to face, father to son, when you are older. It's a very personal story, but part of the picture. It has to do with the long lines of blood and family, about our lives and how we can get lost in them, and, if we're lucky, find our way out again into the sunlight. When you are older, my son, you will learn about how complicated life becomes, how we can lose our way, and how people get hurt inside and out. When my grandfather died, his son was too far away to hear his last words, his final breath, and all the things they might have wished to say to one another were left unspoken. Yet now, Daniel, I must tell you that when you let out your first powerful cry in the delivery room of the Adventist hospital and I became a father, I thought of your grandfather and, foolish though it may seem, hoped that in some way he could hear across the infinity between the living and the dead your proud statement of arrival. For if he could hear, he would recognize the distinct voice of family, the sound of hope and new beginnings that you and all your innocence and freshness have brought to the world.